This is Chapter 5 Packet Tracer Video 5.3.9.3, and we're going to be backing up a Cisco router configuration to a TFTP server. So in this video we will save the configuration of a Cisco 1831 ISR to a remote TFTP server. Backing up the configuration is an important step in the setup of a Cisco router. Having a backup allows you to perform rapid recovery after hardware or configuration errors. It is important to save the running configuration to the startup configuration to protect the configuration from being lost on a router. After the running configuration is saved to the startup configuration can be backed up to the TFTP server. So the first thing we need to do is save the running configuration to the startup configuration. So from the customer PC, we're going to use the terminal software to connect to the Cisco 1841 router. We're going to get into the terminal. This is for our password. We need to get into the privileged exec mode, type our password in, and then we're just going to type in copy running config space startup config. Okay, now it's building the configuration, and now that's complete. Now we're going to back up the startup configuration to the TFTP server. And first of all, we want to test activity to the server by pinging it. And we know the IP address is 192.168.1.10, and we know we can ping it, so therefore we know that we can access it or save files to it. Okay, so now we want to start with our configuration. So we're going to copy the startup config to the TFTP. Okay, it's going to ask for the address or name of the remote host, and we're just going to type that in, 192.168.1.10, and the file name, and you can see it successfully transferred 971 bytes. Okay. Now we're going to verify the local server that the file made it over. So we're going to go to the TFTP tab, and we can see that our files and our configuration made it over. Okay, so now we're going to test the backup configuration. So we want to go back to our terminal software, and we're going to erase the startup configuration. So that's erase startup config. Okay. Go ahead and tell it to do that. Okay, the next thing we want to do is reload the customer router. So we're going to type in reload, proceed with reload. And hit enter. Okay, now the first thing we need to do, so now we just have a router, we need to configure the fast Ethernet interface for connectivity to the TFTP server. So we're going to first of all enable, and then we need to get to our global configuration mode and our interface. And that's FA0/0, and we're going to configure it with the IP address of 192.168.1.1, subnet mask of 255.255.255.0. We want to do a no shutdown. Okay, and then we want to make sure our serial face is up, our serial interface. So we're going to go to interface S0.0.0, and we want to do a no shutdown. Okay, the next thing we want to do is test to see if we can ping the TFTP server. So I'm just going to ping that server. So ping 192.168.1.10. So the success rate was 80%, so we know that we are now have connectivity back to that server. The next thing I want to do is copy the startup configuration file stored on the TFTP server to the running configuration for the customer router. So here we want to type in copy TFTP running config. Going to ask for a host or address, and that is 192.168.1.10. We're going to type in our source or file name was customer router config. Destination file name. Okay, so you can see 971 bytes were copied. So now what we want to do is copy the restore running configuration to NVRAM. So we're going to do the copy running config to the startup config. Okay, now we want to test the restored configuration by pinging the ISP server. So let's go here and let's try to ping the ISP server at 209.165.201.10. And you can see that we have a 100% success. And we have successfully backed up a Cisco router configuration to a TFTP server, as well as deleted it from the router and restored it from that TFTP server. We're going to check our results, and this activity is complete.